Back in the old days, majority of games were stored in either discs or cartridges, but both in itself was encased in a hunk of plastic that is made appealing with an art cover. Initially was inventive and artistically driven, ended up falling into either feeling like a generic movie poster, or in some disturbing cases, Mega Man. But the generic box art cover worked in a way that you knew the genre of the game because it looked like a movie poster. But in some cases, if you simply just flipped the generic box cover, you got something else. May I introduce you to my sexy friend, Reversible Box Art. Did it just fall, bro? My first introduction to the Reversible Box Art was actually Uncharted 4, when I noticed that there was a different box art of Nathan Drake, which I thought was cool, but it wasn't necessarily remarkable, until I got Bloodborne, which I refunded after a few months of playing because I was like 13 and got stuck at the one Reborn, to be then later told it was one of the easier boss fights in the game, so I guess I should have retired there and then, but the game had a reversible box art and in itself was sort of an inverted version of the actual box art, where you were shown more of the artwork, which was kinda cool, but it still had that PS4 banner slapped onto it. However, I think the most impactful and definitely memorable reversible box art was the 2016 Doom. Behind the generic guy with a gun box art was an artwork paying a pretty cool homage to the original 1993 cover, plus without the fuck-ass PS4 banner staple onto it. Cool game with an even cooler cover. Cyberpunk 2077's reversible box art is just the same as the generic-ass cover, but a basic gender swap that is more tailored to your choices, whether you played it as a dude or a chick who bangs Judy. The Evil Within has a pretty decent one, as you do get this really cool artwork that's more ambiguous than the actual box art, but in itself is a reference to the creator's previous iconic game, which would have been awesome if the Evil Within itself wasn't a mixed bag of nuts. Although these are just art covers, but I see it in the same realm as collectible posters that you can either have as a very cool mantelpiece or use as a coaster. There are many more examples of these reversible box art cover, but it never got popular because there's really no point for it considering the decline of physical media. As both video games and movies are leaning towards the digital frontier, as my buddy Jeff Bridges would put it, and to be fair, as innovative and convenient the digital age is, but sometimes there are moments where I want to look at the box art as opposed to an arrayed list with a cute banner. It's partly when we feel like there's nothing to play, or why it feels like there's no movies to watch on whatever streaming platform your mom pays for. Steam actually allows you to customize the cover and banner for your games, allowing each game feel personalized, which is cool and all, but you can also just throw in anything, and I don't really know how to feel about that, because on one hand, it's a genuinely nice gesture, but on the other hand, it's kind of a self-inflicted novelty, as this feature should be the standard for most library game software like Steam, Epic Games, and Ubisoft Connect. But I truly believe these physical medias are more than just shit that are killing the turtles for some reason. They're collector's items, other than actual collector's edition, but you can only get collector's edition with the physical releases of the games. So you do the math, because yeah, why you doing the math? Why you actually doing? There is no math to do. It's a metaphor. I have no clue why digital games have no collector's edition, because not gonna lie, Steam, you have my home address whenever I make a transaction, so you might as well send me some Leon Kennedy figurines with a pack of glow-in-the-dark condoms and a bedazzled Steam Deck as a cherry on top, and I don't know, maybe some Kraft mac and cheese too. I don't know anymore. To be fair, glow-in-the-dark condoms were actually a pre-order bonus for the game Infamous Second Son. Yeah, like if you pre-ordered it, like the game in Italy, they gave you the said condoms and 2 cans of Red Bull for some fucking reason. It's almost like they're saying, thanks for buying the game, here you go. Fuck. But after doing some research, turns out Microsoft cut Sony to the chase in 2004 and did the same thing with promotional condoms for Halo 2, because I don't know, they probably didn't want any gamer guys out there getting pregnant because they gotta play Halo 2, man. Honestly, we should bring that back, to be honest. Like, ribbed condoms for the new 007 games, maybe spray-on condoms for Resident Evil 9. Yeah, those were a thing. because some dude saw the mechanics of a drive-through car wash. It's got a dedicated Wikipedia page, okay? Like, I gotta stop this condom talk. The point of this video was not to waggle my finger whilst having some heart disease and say the good old days were better. The digital frontier seems to be the future, as it is more convenient and more drilled into our everyday lives, especially with AI, but honestly, I prefer Depeche Mode. Can't believe I quoted Jared Leto. I just think these key arts deserves more artistic integrity. Like, yeah, the generic ones do exist because they work within the genre, but these reversible box arts are the only thing that is exercising the fart without the F. With the physical media slowly fading in the back, and the closest thing we got to this is whatever Steam banner is, alongside the trading card system, which I honestly think is pretty cool. Although game cases are just hollow plastic, but it's the art on it paired with the gaming case what makes it feel like a goddamn framed painting. And you might be thinking, okay, cool and all, but why is this moron going on about box art and shit like the actual games itself doesn't matter? Which is a valid point, but you wouldn't buy a game with just a blank ass text describing shit. Unless if you're a nerd who read books, then you got me there. Consider me check with no chance of mate. There isn't any universal reason why we like these box art, or any form of art to be fair. It's just a feeling, and honestly, it's hard to explain most of the time, but it's that feeling is what propels us to simply hit play. And also, it's kind of obvious that a good game itself also fucking matters, so I don't this video was definitely more of a yap session than an actually well-articulated and well-researched video. Anything I said is not really based in any fact, it's more of just based on thoughts and feelings, if I have any. But let me know what's your favorite box art. Doesn't necessarily have to be in topic, you know, it doesn't have to be a reversible one, can just be a normal one. You know, I like these, I'm fading through. But honestly, my favorite box art of all time is probably Call of Duty 3, because it's so dumb, I'm picturing it. It's like, there's a fucking war going on in the background, and bro is shooting in the opposite direction, and then you got his fellow troops who looks like he's yelling at him, being like, what the fuck are you doing? And he's like, I'm grinding camos. What's like having that action hero look on his face. It looks like a meme template. And yeah. Anyway, have a good night, guys, and thanks for watching, and yeah.